Hey, Tangent folk! Ethan here just to announce that this year I have signed up with Movember and am raising awareness and money towards helping prostate cancer, testicular cancer, mental health and suicide prevention whilst I grow out my facial hair for the entire month of November. As someone with ADHD and generalized anxiety disorder, these things are very close to my heart and have hit really close to home in my life. So any donation towards the Movember Foundation really helps, no matter how small. So head on over to bit.ly/EthanMovember with a capital E and capital M to be redirected to my MoSpace and donate now. I'm also going to be shaving it all off for the first time in more than 3 years at the end of this month, so go to my Instagram at EthanIsAnActor, all one word, for the live stream on the 3rd of December at 4 p.m. GMT. Anyway, hope to see you there. On with the episode.
Why, hello, and welcome to Tangent. I'm Grandma Ethan.
And I'm just Brandon Ilsley, because the Halloween episode was the last one.
And if you haven't
Listened to you.
Yeah.
All right.
Good idea.
And if you haven't listened to this podcast before, the whole point of this podcast is that we get a random word or phrase, and then we discuss said word or phrase and see whatever tangents we go on.
Funny every time.
Stop humor laughing me. So you can send your ideas or suggestions to tangentpodcastideas@gmail.com or go to our Instagram, baby, at going_honor_tangent. Anyway, Brandon, how are you doing, babe?
Thanks, honey. I'm doing quite well, actually, Ethan. I'm feeling in good, energetic spirits today because I've had a coffee. That's pretty much my life story.
Is that all it takes for you to be having a good day? Is just coffee?
Look, I think I just have really low blood pressure because I don't feel human unless I have like something to constrict my veins to make it pump faster. How are you?
Well, I mean, in the realms of stimulants, I'm doing pretty good. This is the first episode where I have started taking
Cocaine.
ADHD medication.
Oh.
I was going to say ADHD medication, but cocaine as well. No cocaine, but methylphenidate. Yes.
Ooh.
The medication for the big funny.
The big
I'm
funny.
too funny. I've had to have my funny medicated out of me. That's what the doctor said. That's his quotes, not mine.
Yeah. I want to see that written down by the doctor and sign it because I don't believe you.
Yeah, I will. I'll show it to you.
Good.
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. In some other news, just a little cheeky plug here. But me and our good friend Ben, guest from episode 5, who isn't our favorite guest, that's Theo, but
Yeah.
he's a close second.
He's up
because there's only been 2.
Yeah, exactly. Don't worry. Come episode 15, he will be third. Don't despair.
But we have a gaming YouTube channel called Belief. That's BLEETH. And if you go to youtube.com/@Belief_, you'll see us with an episode of Sea of Thieves.
Wow.
Have you played Sea of Thieves, Brandon?
I haven't because I don't own a Microsoft-enabled device to do so. However, I would love to play Sea of Thieves because I love the idea of getting on a pirate ship and like fucking around. Also, is there like an upgrade feature for like the ship? You can like upgrade it, right?
Well, I mean, so a lot of Sea of Thieves, there isn't really any like upgrade gameplay necessarily, but like there's a lot of cosmetic upgrades. So there's not like, you can get larger ships that have different characteristics.
Right.
Like the smaller sloop is like more maneuverable. The larger one is faster, I think.
Is it also like
100%.
easier to crew with just 2 of you? I suppose.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It has recommended crew sizes. We tried crewing one of the big ships, but when you have 3 sails and only 1 person to steer and 1 person to do the sails, it's a bit difficult.
Well, maybe I'll join you guys one day if I can.
Yeah, just get a good PC. and
Yeah,
and join us.
nice and easy. Just get a good PC.
Yeah, exactly. But it's fun. It's a lot of fun watching. The One Piece live action made me really want to go back to that pirate fantasy.
Mhm.
So I was like, I'm downloading me some Sea of Thieves to play.
Oh yeah, I do. One day, I wish I could get to play it because I've always wanted to play the game. And also, yeah, that One Piece live action, for whatever faults, in my personal opinion, I don't think it was that bad. I enjoyed myself when I watched it. Not,
Yeah.
I didn't masturbate, but I enjoyed watching. You get it. You get what I'm trying to say.
I did, but that
that's
was only when Arlong was on screen.
Oh, mate, that nose. Whoo!
Oh, well, so I'm quite upset because in the anime, Luffy breaks Arlong's nose, and I really wanted to see that in live action because that was fucking brutal, but it just didn't happen.
I suppose they had to keep a rating, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
they sort of they dialed down the brutality of the anime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It did take me a while to get into because I thought it was a bit cringy, but by the end of it, I was loving it.
Oh,
Done a bit of singing there.
I know. I enjoyed that. What is it, Ethan?
Right, it's time for the prompt.
Wow.
Are you ready for this one?
Wow.
Today's prompt is taxidermy.
Boom, 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 boom.
I can put the sound in. In fact, the sound will have already played by the point that you do that.
Good.
Making that sound you made redundant.
Good.
Anyway, that was from Boris Bampalamp.
And keen listeners will remember that name's come up before.
Has it?
I'm pretty sure Boris Bampalamp's come up before, is it not?
I don't think so.
Okay. Keen listeners will realise that Brandon doesn't know what he's talking about, and so remain quiet.
Brandon,
Yes.
have you ever witnessed a taxidermy? What's your opinion?
In progress? Have I ever gone to a taxidermy shop and just watched him do it? No,
Well, I was thinking after the fact. Have you ever seen a taxidermied animal?
Well, yeah, I've been to museums.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, well done, mate. But in non-museum related things, I think yes, I have. I remember being. This is a really odd memory, actually. I think I remember being around a house. My mum was getting a haircut, I think, and this woman just had a taxidermy cat, which is, I think, the most. Is that true? That's the most common animal to have taxidermied, a cat. That seems to be the one that sort of comes to my mind. That also just could be because of this weirdly specific memory.
No, I do think, yeah. I think cat owners tend to be a bit more kooky than dog owners.
You say that again.
And I think, considering the bonds that you kind of create with a dog tend to be more than that with a cat. Because the dog's actually happy to see you. Like Honey, my dog, I come through the door, she's over the moon. Socks, unless I'm warm, and she wants to sit on me, no, she does not care where I am.
Yeah.
So I think there's an element to which the dog is like, that's really sad. The cat's like, might as well keep that around.
Yeah, well, I think we talked about this literally on the previous episode, that like the relationship between dogs and cats is different because obviously we it's the difference between right? It's the difference between having a child land on your doorstep and choosing a child for adoption. Like, like the child that lands on your doorstep, you've just kind of got an obligation to take care of it now. And that's how I feel like the cats feel about humans. Like and how humans feel about cats. It's very much a mutual respect of like, we're doing this because we have to most of the time. And like there are times where like you're really affectionate and I'm really affectionate towards you. But most of the time you could disappear and I wouldn't really care. Whereas the other one is like, I chose you. I love you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that is a good thing about cats, though, is that, they are a lot less maintenance.
Oh, yeah.
Honey, I've got to be there. Sorry, excuse me. Honey, I've got to be there like every day for her. She needs us to do something for her every day.
Yeah.
The cats, we have an automatic feeder for them now, so we could literally fuck off for a week, come back, and they will have taken care of themselves.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And yeah, cats are very good at taking care of themselves because they chose this sort of semi-permanent existence. But also, I think it has something to say with object permanence. Dogs don't have object permanence. Have you ever like when a dog's playing with a toy, and then like you hide it, and then like after about 5 minutes they forget what toy it is they're playing with, and you just bring it out again, and it's like, oh my god, I fucking love that toy. Where did you find it? Holy shit!
Yeah,
like. Dogs' lack of object permanence is probably why they're always like, when you leave, it's always the worst thing in the world, and when you come back, it's always like, I haven't seen this person in a period of time, and that makes it forever. Hi.
Yeah. Well, I wonder if that's also why dogs are like, Mittens and Socks frequently decide to not eat their food if we switch from wet food to dry food because they're posh. But Honey will literally jump through hoops because she's so excited for her dinner. And by literally jump through hoops, I mean it, because we've trained her to do this thing where we put our arms in a hoop and we go through the hoop, and she'll jump through, and I've been progressively making it higher and higher to see how high she'll jump through my hoop.
Gay? But no, yeah. Sorry about that.
Brandon, mute your phone.
I have.
We're recording a podcast.
Look, when the Samsung wants to notify me of the weather change, I need to know about it. Yeah, no, it wasn't a friend. But yeah, no, I think also dogs are just, there's two ways to train a dog, isn't there? And it's toy oriented or like food oriented dogs. Yes. And considering that's food is a dog's bread and butter. But no, yeah. See, I wouldn't taxidermy a dog.
Also,
like that would be weird.
Is human bread and butter as well.
I wouldn't taxidermy a dog though. That's it feels kind of weird because, like you say, the relationship you have is just different. It's like taxidermying your child. It's like I wouldn't. That's scary.
What about making it into a quad-copter?
See, I'm happy you said that, and I really thought you were going to say quadriplegic, and I was like, just cripple your dog, just make it can't walk.
No, Brandon, I'm going to send you an image, right?
No, I don't want it.
I want you to tell me what you think of this image.
Okay, hang on, everybody who's listening. We have to do a gag that you won't get or understand. Because apparently,
Brandon, you can describe the image.
Okay, sure. Hang on, what are you sending it on?
A messenger.
You haven't sent it yet, though.
It is. It's sent.
Oh, he's a liar. No, it's like I says BBC News in the corner. Okay, so for the listeners at home, Ethan's just sent me an image of I think this is AI generated.
No,
it's not.
It's not.
Are you
not.
what? Okay. Wait, no. I'm gonna describe it to the best of my ability. So it's a blurred out field with some trees behind it, and in the center of the picture, there is what looks to be a drone with 4 yellow propellers where you think they are, with 2 landing stalks. However, the body of the drone isn't a drone. It is instead a splayed out cat that seems to have a surprised look on their face, with BBC News in the corner.
So it's it's an actual thing. The cat's called Orville, and the owners requested a Dutch taxidermist to turn it into a drone.
What the fuck?
Which they call the Orville copter.
What the fuck? Okay. If you're listening, but you need to understand the context, so go and Google this image. Go and Google the Orville copter.
Or you can just Google. What I did is I searched drone cat, because I immediately remembered this is a thing. This was ages ago. This image was from a while ago, but I remembered it being a thing because it was so absurd.
What the fuck? But like, that's okay. If the person had to have either really, really loved their cat and it's turned into a twisted thing of them wanting to fly it around, or they really fucking hated that cat. And so they were like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to turn you into a goddamn drone so I can crash you into a tree every now and then and think it's funny. Like, wow. Wow. There's some weird people out there, man.
I just found an image of someone flying it, and it's even worse.
No, I don't. You sent me another one. I'm not watching a
it's so
YouTube
bad.
video while we're recording
No,
a podcast.
okay, well, you can watch it afterwards. But yeah, that's I don't understand why you would do that. Like, why would you
Well, that's what I'm
make
saying.
your cat into a drone?
It's got to be. They just didn't like it. But you know what?
Yeah.
Cats are easier to not like. And let's be real.
True.
They just are.
Drones are pretty fun though.
Drones are great. Have you ever owned a drone?
Well, I don't own one myself, but my dad.
Yeah, your dad seems like a drone guy.
Well, it's so. A lot of it is for like business stuff, so it's like a photography drone or like a filming drone.
Yeah. That's technically that's all drones now. Like you cannot
Yes.
really get a drone. It's not like how helicopters used to be, remote control helicopters, where it was just like
I used to love those. Those were like my favorite thing, but they would break in like 2 seconds.
well, yeah, if you're shit at flying them. Dis. I actually had to fly drones in shops for my job when I worked at Mankind. You know what I mean? Like that was something I
Did you
had.
fly it into someone?
I didn't because I was good at the flying drones. Because the drones that we used to fly were like indoor drones, so they were small, and like the way you control them wasn't with a normal standard remote control. It was with like motion control. So you had something that looked like a mouse pad, like a computer mouse, and then basically if you twist your wrist forward so that your fingers were facing down, it'd go forward, back, left, and right. You know, what I mean,
That's very similar to the way that my dad's drone works.
Oh, is it also motion controlled?
Yeah, but what you have is like a little joystick, so you can move it up, down, left, and right, and then it has a little button that you press to make it go forwards. And it comes with VR goggles as well.
Yeah,
so you can
that's cool.
literally watch as you fly, which is really fun. We took it out on a field once. One time we flew it in the house.
You flew it.
And my dad managed to. Yeah, he accidentally pressed the forward button and put a dent in the wall. But like you could fly it pretty accurately and really slowly because you're seeing a first-person view. Honey was not happy.
No,
she hated it.
Yeah, because when their propellers spin, they emit a really really high frequency that we can't hear. But like obviously dogs don't like.
It's like those fucking dickheads that put those high-pitched squeaky things in their front garden. You know the things I'm talking about?
No.
Like they have a motion detector, and if you walk past certain people's houses, they just play a really high-pitched frequency. And normally it's to ward off either cats or teenagers.
Yeah, no, it's a cat deterrent. Yeah, it's exactly what it's for.
It fucks my hearing. I hate it. I hate people that do that. Because it's just like it's so obnoxious.
Well, don't worry, mate. Like, give it 5 years, you won't hear it anymore. So you know what I mean? Like, don't worry.
But still, it's obnoxious for other people as well.
Yeah, it is.
Just because it's not a problem for me does not mean it's not an epidemic problem.
No, this is an epidemic now.
Yes.
I plant I will die on this hill. This is the hill where I will die. No one can have that shitty high frequency emitter outside their house. Fuck those people.
Exactly. Because it's so inconsiderate. It's like, yeah, maybe you don't want cats, but one, they don't work for cats, and two,
They do.
Some people put it out there to deter kids from being outside their front garden.
It doesn't. The thing is, though, that wouldn't like a kid isn't an animal, or like a teenager is an animal. If they find something that's making like their ears hurt and they want to play somewhere, do you know what they'll do? They'll break it.
Yeah.
They'll go fuck this thing, and it will break, and then you won't know about it because the person who puts it out there obviously won't be able to hear the noise because they'll be like in their 50s. So their thing will just be broken. And they won't know about it until they get a cat in their garden, and then they'll be like, "Oh, so our thing must be broken." Yeah, you're not winning by doing it.
Yeah,
because if you piss off the wrong person, they'll just break it.
Yeah, no, completely. And there are so many in the little like neighborhood that I live in.
Yeah, but you live in a middle class neighborhood. That's the problem.
Yeah,
I don't think those things are cheap either. So you have to have some sort of money to have them.
I don't know how.
I don't know. Google it now, right now. Teenage deterrent. Yeah, that's called body wash. Funny.
There we go.
Joke.
Here is from the company Mosquito, the anti-loitering and teenage repellent.
What? Anti-loitering teenage repellent. It sounds like a Batman, like shark spray, like bat shark spray from the shitty bat, the old the film, the TV show. Sounds like something like that. Just come out of your house with like just fucking pepper spray. Anti-loitering teenage repellent.
So to buy one of these kits, which includes a cage, what is the cage for?
It's for the teenagers. It's if they don't run away, you can just
it drops on
you
them.
just capture them like fucking over the hedge.
It's so the cage it's to protect the thing that sets it off. That very thing.
Oh, how we were saying that,
you thought about. So these kits range from 500 to 700 pounds.
Like, what the fuck, man? Who's gonna drop almost $1,000 on a high-pitched frequency emitter in a cage because you don't like the fact that some 14-year-olds are standing outside your house? You know what I say to that? Grow up. Grow up, bruv. Like, if you don't like them standing outside your house, here's something you could do that's even better. Put that £500 towards funding a community activity centre or a park, and maybe those teenagers might leave your premises because they'll have something better to do.
This is the thing I hate about so much modern design, because it's designed to remove nuisance but not really solve the problem.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we have a problem with teenagers loitering. Well, what actually is that problem? People look at it and they go, the problem is the teenagers are loitering. We need to get them to move. But the problem isn't the teenagers loitering, it's that they have nowhere to fucking go.
Yeah, and nothing to do. And this is the problem.
Because, there's play parks for kids, yes, but most of them are like, if you're above the age of 12, don't come in here.
Yep.
And, most people don't listen to that anyway, but you get the odd parent or someone who's going to be like, you need to leave.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, between the ages of 12 and 18, there's fuck all to do.
100%. And this,
except, terrorize old people.
And this is the thing, the only places you can go, like the parks that will allow you, the public spaces where you're not loitering, are like fielded parks where people like walking dogs and shit, where there's also nothing to do. Because you know what? If you start playing football in one of those parks, more often than not, you're going to get somebody being like, you shouldn't be playing football here. It's not a football pitch.
Yeah. Exactly.
So it's like, it's basically, it's like a catch-22. It's like, you don't want them loitering, but you don't give them anything to do. So what the fuck are they going? And like, obviously, you can say a lot about like
I hate
the funding community centers and shit, but yeah.
Exactly. But it's like the same thing when you go into like cities, and I hate antagonistic design that's specifically designed to give homeless people nowhere to sleep.
Yeah.
It's like, rather than, what do? Solve the homelessness? No, we just stop them from sleeping anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fuck it. Let's make the whole ground spikes, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
Great. Problem solved.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's, yeah. Well,
now you have a whole bunch of grumpy, tired people everywhere. Like, you've not solved the problem, you've just made them angry.
I don't think the whole problem with being homeless is that you're tired all the time. I think there's a couple of other factors to it, but I'm sure it doesn't help.
No, but I'm saying, if you're thinking about what is the effect that's going to have, yes, in the short term, it moves them away, maybe, but in the long term, you're just pissing them.
Yeah, well,
I'm not saying that's the only problem homeless people face.
Do you know what?
It's just that that's what that effect will have.
Yeah, but the thing is, this is how humans do fix, or it's like in air quotations, solve problems. Like we've been doing it for ages. Like, I mean, if you look at how we solve flooding in the Midlands, is we made the riverbeds deeper and like concreted them so that water would like flow faster down the rivers, or like has more of a space to go down the river. Only problem being is all that's done is push the flooding problem further down the river. So now there's a town that never used to have a flooding problem, having a flooding problem, and they don't have any natural barriers against it or any human-built barriers against it because they never used to fucking have the problem. But now, because we fixed the problem somewhere else, quotation marks again, it causes a problem downstream, and it will go further and further and further downstream. And that's...
but it's the north, it doesn't count.
This is the Midlands, mate. This is why floodings has increased in the Midlands.
Oh,
for exactly this reason.
Downstream, not upstream.
Yeah.
Fuck, no, not the Londoners.
No, the Midlands. The Londoners live on an estuary. It's big enough, and we have the tide barrier and stuff. It's fine.
But I would like to push the flooding problem down to London, please.
I don't think it would work. Put it that way.
Maybe if you think about it.
I think if there was a flooding problem in London, it would get solved so much faster than anywhere else in England.
Well, yeah, because that's why, the Thames Barrier exists and why there isn't the Midlands Barrier.
The Midlands Barrier. But that's not the way to solve the issue anyway. The problem is the way to solve the issue isn't just obviously the Thames Barrier is different because it stops seawater. You know what I mean? That's a different
it's actually stopping swells.
Yeah, but if you stop flooding somewhere else, the way that you do it is either by building a dam, building a barrier, or making the problem worse somewhere else. That's all you're doing. You're just pushing the problem not in your area.
Well, it's like the same with like groins on beaches.
Yeah.
As in like nudist beaches. Like the problem is they're all naked, and no,
that was the worst. Ethan, I'm sorry. I've said this to you before. Stop setting up your own jokes. Stop doing it.
But it's funny.
Is it? Is it?
Yeah.
Funny? Get in the comments and tell me if it's funny. You're gonna put a laugh track in, aren't you?
No.
Oh, wow. But no, absolutely. Yeah, groins on beaches cause sediment build up somewhere else, and they stop sediment flowing across the beaches and redepositing somewhere else. And it causes degradation of land. And so just people lose their homes because further down the line, some rich fucks want a nice sandy beach that they can go to. It's awful. But, what can you do?
Actually solve the problem.
Well, you can't solve... Do you know how you solve the problem? Is you work with nature. So instead of building your house on the sand or like on the place where it will be eroded, because we have the technology to know it will be eroded eventually, you just move the town back. Or you put up natural barriers like sandbanks and stuff, and that stops most of the problem or slows it down or whatever. But
or you do what Ben Shapiro said in that one clip.
What did he say?
I don't know if you've seen this.
No.
He's talking about like coastal
erosion.
Like and stuff. And he's like, these people, don't you just think that like, they would just sell their houses and move somewhere else? And then and everyone's like, to who? Who are they selling this house that's going into the sea to?
Obviously, the only person that's going to buy it is a rich cunt who wants to buy the land by the beach as well. That's the only person that's going to buy those.
Yeah, if Ben Shapiro, if you're not willing to buy the house, shut up. I'm just in general. Can he not speak?
Oh, mate, it's just so funny. It's again, like in terms of like, if you talk about coastal erosion specifically, this is something the UK has to deal with all the time. But like, there's also like, it's really cool to watch the natural processes happen because obviously you get like, do you know what a spit is? When it comes to
it's what you do in my mouth.
But no, it's when sand basically builds up like in like a straight line, like perpendicular to like the sea, the like the bank, and then that sort of creates another barrier, and what that barrier creates is a lack of water, like seawater flowing through it, which creates more like land to build up slowly, which then starts off like basically it builds up land very slowly to get like another. You just basically it's built on basically for every side of the country where the water is pushing inwards, there's another side of the country where new land is being naturally formed at the same rate. Well, at the same rate if all the natural processes were happening at the same time with very similar rock deposits and stuff. But it's very it's just everyone just do your geography homework because you know what, it's actually more interesting than you give it credit for.
I didn't. I got an A in geography, but I didn't do any homework.
Man, yeah, it's interesting. Geography, it's more interesting than people give it credit for.
But yeah, it's like it's almost like nature kind of fixes itself. Yeah. So we just kind of need to just do with nature. Do with nature. Let's get down a t-shirt, everybody. Ethan Leaf, 2023. Do with nature. Do with nature. If we ever have merch, that's going to be the first thing that comes up. I was actually thinking about this the other day. You know what the first merch is that we're going to get? What? Do you live in Israel? No, for fuck's sake. You know it's going to be. No, we're okay. This is my official statement. We're never doing merch now. Yeah, I don't think that's an issue, at least for the foreseeable future, Ethan. If comment down below if you would like merch. Actually, to be fair, I don't know why we say this, because most places you cannot comment. Yeah, I think Spotify should bring out comments. I think that's
going to be very good for the Spotify app.
I think Spotify might be one of the few places you can.
You can't comment on. How are you meant to comment on stuff on Spotify?
I don't know.
Then you can't
Okay.
do it. Why would you say
Right.
that you can if you don't know if you can? Why would you say that?
Because I'm a compulsive liar, Brandon. Okay. Don't comment down below. Send us an email at going. No, wait,
that's the other one. That's the Instagram.
Send us a message at going_on_tangent, or send us an email at tangentpodcastideas@gmail.com.
And while you're doing that, throw in a prompt.
Yeah, please throw in a prompt.
We'll reply to the message. We'll reply to the prompt because that'd be weird.
Well, we might. You'll get a response. We have an autoresponder on anyway, so you will get some form of response.
Maybe.
We do appreciate, and your response might be that you get featured in an episode.
FT, tangent FT.
What?
Like on songs when they're featuring an artist, they say FT.
Oh, I thought you were like saying like NFT.
Yeah, that's gonna be our first merch. It's gonna be an NFT.
Yeah, that's our first merch is an NFT, and it's gonna be a Brandon's face.
I'm sorry for everyone who has to.
Brandon's non-fungible face.
Non-fungible tangent.
Fungible, such a weird word.
Fungible's a great word.
It's weird.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's weird. It's still
That's
great.
too much like fungus.
Ethan, I know I'm not the host of this episode, but have you enjoyed our conversation on taxidermy?
I was gonna get there, but I very much enjoyed this conversation about taxidermy. We hope that you guys have enjoyed as well. As we said, please send us your prompts.
Yep.
Send them either on Instagram at going_on_tangent or at our email, tangentpodcastideas@gmail.com. And you may be featured in an episode.
Wow.
But either way, as always, and until next time, I am your groin.
And I am coastal erosion.
We'll see you next time. Bye. Welcome. This is the end. You know how we always put something at the end. This is what this is. We hope that you're liking the end, as this is the post-credits scene. Yeah. I hope you're liking it, because this is the post-credits scene, and this is the post-credits scene. We hope you're liking the post-credits scene. Yeah.
I'm Thanos with the glove.
What?